My name is Billy Carter, and my artifact is on the 20th century novel Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Brave New World was a revolutionary piece of literature that inspired readers to think and question the world around them. In Brave New World, Huxley presents the reader with two fundamental questions. Is it better to be happy or free? And what is the purpose of religion? The first question is a concern that has been around since the beginning of time. As human beings, we would like to live both happy and free. However, it is impossible to truly do both. In freedom comes responsibility and consequences, good or bad, for the decisions we make. A bad consequence will disrupt happiness. However, if we are to truly live happy, we must give up some freedom to ensure the elimination of attachment and tragedy. In the other question, we are presented an inquiry, not only on the principles of religion, but the purpose of it as well. Is it this structure of rules and beliefs truly purposed towards living a righteous life and creating a better world, or is it a blindfold that controls human beings' desires in order to maintain society and sustain order? About the author. Aldous Leonard Huxley was born in England, July 26, 1894. As a child, Huxley was seen as different, displaying social alertness and intelligence. Tragedy first struck in his life when Julia Arnold, his mother, died from cancer when he was 14. At age 16, he suffered from an eye illness that nearly blinded him. Despite recovering partial vision, he would not be allowed to go on and fight in World War I with his friends due to the impairment. He would eventually regain enough vision to graduate from Oxford University with honors. He got married in 1919 to a Belgian named Maria Nice. He took many psychiatric drugs to expand his mind, such as LSD and mescaline. Fun fact, he was George Orwell's high school French teacher at the prestigious School of Eton. After Orwell's writing of 1984, he wrote him a letter of how much he enjoyed it in discussing philosophical views. He died on November 22, 1963, the same day President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The tragedy in his life can be seen reflected in his book. Huxley's family. Aldous Huxley was born into an intellectually elite ruling English family. His father, Thomas Henry Huxley, helped develop the theory of evolution with Charles Darwin. He's more commonly known as Darwin's bulldog. His aunt, Mrs. Humphrey Ward, or Madam Ward, was a popular novelist in England. She helped improve education among the poor and was the founding president of the Women's National Anti-Suffrage League, which focused on getting women's rights for voting. His great-uncle Tom Arnold, or Thomas Arnold, was a professor of literature. It is clear to see where the influence came from in his writings. His grandpa William Edward Foster, not to be confused with Will Foster, the secretary of the American Communist Movement, was an English politician. He was also a passionate social reformer. Historical context. Brave New World was written in a very dark time during world history. The year was 1931 when Brave New World had finished construction. The United States was right in the middle of its greatest depression of all time. It's still currently the greatest depression the U.S. has ever been in. Many people were homeless, jobs ran out, the stock market was at an ultimate bust. Russia, or the Soviet Union, had its Bolshevik Revolution 14 years ago, where Vladimir Lenin took control. This book was written in the midst of Stalin's rule during the Soviet Communist Party, where the ideas of communism were vastly growing and spreading amongst Asia. This book was also written 5 years before the Soviet Union officially established itself to be claimed the first socialist state. England had experienced many deaths, government decisions as well as far as leadership goes. Europe had experienced its depression as well. Huxley spent time in Italy during the rule of Benito Mussolini, and also seen Austria's biggest bank close. South America had a lot of political reform, where Marxism had spread through those areas as well. The specter of governing order that Marx was talking about was gaining popularity. In 8 years, World War II would arise. Summary. Brave New World is about a futuristic world that takes place in the year 632 AF, which means after Ford, the god of the New World. It's important to realize that Ford was so exalted by these people because he was the god of our current mass production and assembly lines and mass industry. These ideas, themes, and motifs will replay themselves throughout the book. There is no remains of the modern civilization that we currently live in. After 2 world wars, a new era of Ford is established through dictatorship and stability. The world depicted in the book is run on a caste system. However, in this system, humans are scientifically produced and conditioned from birth to favor their place in society over any other. Marriage is forbidden, and every citizen takes a pill called Soma. Soma will have importance as well. It serves as a major theme and motif in this book. The supplement of Soma induces instant happiness and instant gratification. Three individuals will struggle to abide by the rules of society in the world they live in. Due to their individuality to find themselves in this society, they will indirectly be assimilated by the system and find themselves in an undesirable position. Themes, symbols, and motifs. Bernard Marx, the main character of the book, is a symbol for Karl Marx. You can see this in the shared last name. He's somebody in society who doesn't quite yearn for what's been given to him. Instead, as a member of the highest part of the caste system, he knows that there's more to life than what others are doing. Ford. It's important to realize that in this brave new world, Ford has replaced God. Fordism, my Ford, year of our Ford. These replace the original statements, deism, my God, and year of our God. This is a reference to Henry Ford, the inventor of the assembly line. Soma. Soma is a drug that induces happiness. It's the theme, symbol, and motif of happiness, as well as religion. It shows that religion produces happiness amongst people and suggests that the provision of religion really clouds the mind from seeing reality. Church. The book is actually reversed the idea of church. In this book, people attend Fordson Community Seniority. It's where citizens go to praise the values of their lives, which are sex, happiness, identity, and Fordism. Marxism. Religion is the opiate of the masses. This was once stated by Karl Marx. In the book, Huxley flips that idea, however. He makes opiate the new religion of the masses. In other words, the things people are addicted to are the things that people believe in, the things that they worship. Every citizen is subconsciously addicted to soma, and the government distributes it on a regular basis to keep its citizens happy. Marx believed that religion was used to keep people happy, but it also gave them a false sense of reality, clouded their vision from what was true. Using this belief, Huxley used soma to display the reality of impairment. Against the institution of marriage, Huxley displayed this in the rules of the Great New Society. No member was allowed to be married, and single relationships where you're just with one person were discouraged. This was taught from a young age during conditioning and was throughout the lives of the people in the Brave New World. Since the moral standard is flipped and children are self-produced, there's no need for marriage anymore. In communism, every identity must be found in being a part of the state. Despite the presence of social classes, alpha, beta, gamma, and kappa, and epsilon, the model is consistent with identity, community, and stability. Everyone produces the needs for each other and for one another. In being part of the state, they find themselves stable, an identity, and a strong community, where one person helps the other for a greater cause. Important quotes. Call it the fault of civilization. God isn't compatible with machinery and scientific medicine and universal happiness. You must make your choice. Our civilization has chosen machinery and medicine and happiness. Huxley 159. Here Mustafa Ahmad, one of the world directors, explains that religion is of the old days and has nothing to do with the physical things. It teaches false morals and to attempt people to condition and make certain decisions. Religion didn't cure cancer or end world hunger. Next, we see where Mustafa Ahmad explains that Soma is a perfect upgrade from religion. Soma is Christianity without tears. In this, we see that Soma keeps people happy while maintaining control of them. There is no sorrow in Soma or bad morals in Soma, only clouding of reality, but in a good way, a way where people are allowed to live and see the good in life, and no sorrow. The last quote expresses the downside of free will. If you have God, you have a reason for self-denial. In Matthew 16:24, Jesus calls us to deny ourselves. In this, we see that we must stop making decisions that please us, but please a being that might not even exist. That is the interpretation Huxley is going with. But in the Brave New World, you make all the decisions that are for you and for your happiness. In the second quote, we see the ideas of Marxism, that everyone produces according to the needs and desires of everyone else. That is the idea of a community, identity, and stability, and what you can do for others as yourself to create the Brave New World. These ideas are fundamental throughout the book. In conclusion, Huxley believes that in order to maintain happiness among people, you must take away free will. In this, no harmful decision can be made. He also believes that religion is a perversion of society. It tells others how to live and tries to guide them secretly and subconsciously. He believes that whenever an individual is focused on the benefit of the community, they'll find an identity that relies on stability. All in all, Huxley